Hi everybody, hope you're all keeping well. Today I'm going to do a brief video on mental health. So obviously it's a term that gets promoted a lot in the news, social media, different podcasts, and also maybe some conversations that you've been having between friends, family and colleagues. The point that I want to get across today is that mental health is something that we're all experiencing all the time. So it's not necessarily just the negative aspects, but it's also the positive aspects, which indicate that we're enjoying, we're getting fulfillment from our day-to-day lives. So this is a slide which is quite useful, I feel, in terms of kind of just giving a little bit more detail about those kind of stages and the different experiences of life that we go through. So it goes from excelling on the right, so the extreme sort of positive aspects of mental health, and then it goes then to the left in crisis, which is some of the more negative aspects of what we can experience throughout our lives, throughout our careers. So if we take excelling for the first stage that we can kind of be in and we can experience. So the thoughts, feelings, emotions and behaviors, the things like being cheerful, being joyful, full of energy. We're performing really, really well on the race course or with our relationships. We're in that flow state quite often, and we're sort of fully realizing our potential. So we might be in this every day, but might be kind of certain aspects where you're riding on the crest of a wave or your relationships are going really well and you feel full of energy and you feel really on it. As we move to the left, this is labeled as thriving. So this stage is kind of hopefully that we're in it quite often, but we're feeling positive, we're feeling calm, performing well, sleeping well, eating normally and normal social activity. So we're engaging with our friends, our family, our partners, but yeah, kind of really just kind of doing well in life, feeling that we're progressing, and feeling quite positive about where we're headed. As we move to the left, this is labelled as surviving. So this characterised maybe by kind of maybe some worried thoughts, being nervous, being irritable, maybe feeling a little bit sad, a little bit down, maybe having trouble sleeping, being distracted, so our thoughts aren't maybe focused on the job at hand, and feeling a little bit withdrawn, so we're not engaging in as many kind of relationships or with friends as we normally would. So this is usually an indication that there's something not quite right. In terms of sport, this is maybe kind of a stage that we can experience quite a lot in terms of if you're on a bad run of form, if you've been injured, if you're maybe having difficulty managing weight, if relationships with maybe kind of trainers or colleagues aren't going too well. This is something we experience quite often, especially in the ups and downs of professional sport. You're going to hit kind of challenges a lot of the time. But yeah, if we look at those kind of two middle stages, surviving and thriving, and they're maybe kind of the ones that we can tend to kind of fall into more regularly than the others. But it's important again to reinforce that these are all stages that we may experience through life at certain parts. So if we're looking at that surviving and you are starting to notice these kind of worrisome or nervous thoughts, or you're kind of physically you're having trouble sleeping, that's the time to really reach out if you are struggling there. So like reaching out to friends, family, potentially the kind of the mental wellbeing services in terms of the PGA support. So looking at Sporting Chance and really trying to get to the bottom of why you're feeling this way. Is it sort of just a stage that you're going through? Is it kind of you're, as I said, particularly struggling maybe with form, different things like that, but trying to get to the bottom of it. Really important to talk about it and get it out in the open and get it off your chest. As we move back towards the left again, so struggling, so this is where things are really starting to kind of impact on your kind of day-to-day functioning. So you're anxious, so you're worried about different things that maybe happened in the past or maybe are going to happen in the future. Depressed, so low mood, low motivation, things like that. You're fatigued a lot, and your performance is starting to suffer, and your sleep is getting poor, and you're not eating in the normal patterns that you might usually do. So again, if you sense that you're in this sort of stage, it's so important to reach out to those either well-being services or to a friend or someone you trust, and to just say that you are struggling and you need support, you need help, again, to try and figure out potentially where this is coming from, or just to relieve that little bit of anxiety. It's so good to talk to people about the emotions, the thoughts that you are experiencing, and that kind of even that talk itself can relieve a lot of anxiety. And then if we move to the furthest column on the left, so this is the in crisis stage. So this is sort of people who are suffering clinically with either anxiety, depression, or substance disorders, things like that. So we're very anxious, or we're constantly worried, we're very low mood, struggling really to gain any kind of enjoyment, fulfillment from the day. Maybe not turning up to work, maybe not turning up to normal kind of friends, kind of social situations. Always tired, sleep is being dramatically affected, and maybe kind of weight loss again connected to potentially that appetite not being there as much as it was. So that just kind of gives you kind of a brief sort of from left to right of the different thoughts, emotions and feelings that we can experience just as part of being human. The really important part is to just be able to identify these different stages, and if you're in that kind of more thriving or excelling stages, brilliant, identify that, enjoy that, try to kind of think about what were the behaviors or the thoughts that led you feeling really good and positive. And if you move more towards the left, also identifying, well, I'm a little bit more worried than normal, what is the reason for that? And if you can't kind of figure that out for yourself, talk to someone, talk to a friend, family, or get in touch with the wellbeing services at the PJ. Thank you very much for watching.